Here's Garcia Mendez, son of Hugo Garcia and Graciela Mendez. Here's plans work to save money for his future, help his family, and buy a Mini Cooper. Christian Hookfin, son of Wilson and Sandra Hookfin. Christian plans to attend Iowa Lakes to study nursing. Derek Huss, son of Steve and Janine Huss. Derek plans to attend UNL to study accounting and finance. Kenny Rash, son of Craig and Teresa. Kenny plans on attending Iowa Lakes for 2 years, then transferring to Iowa State to major in education. Kendall Schmidt, son of Wade and Joni Lear. Kendall plans to attend Iowa Lakes to study photography. Ian Youngdahl, son of Tim and Jane Youngdahl. Ian plans on attending Iowa State, majoring in education. Thank you, seniors, for all your hard work and dedication. You've represented Spencer well as a Tiger. Best of luck heading into the postseason. Special thanks to you parents for your endless support.
Kind of just playing with my friends. I don't know. I like to watch The Office, but that's on Netflix, not on Netflix anymore. So I don't know. My mom says my name a lot when I'm at home. That kind of. My favorite food is pizza. My favorite coach, can it be for any sport, is Coach Gress for wrestling, and it's because I don't know. We're kind of just friends, so. Kind of seeing everyone around. I mean, we're kind of going our separate ways, so it's a little sad. I'm going to Northwestern College to wrestle and study business. Probably my Xbox, clothes, and TV, I guess. I don't know. Cherish it while it lasts. It doesn't last forever.
I've been playing soccer since I was about 3 or 4 years old. I used to watch my brothers play on this exact same team, so I just like the, kind of naturality it comes with playing. And as a younger soccer player, I was always a goalkeeper and like blocking my other brothers' shots. So, just kind of fun. Love watching college basketball. Love watching college sports in general. Watch overseas soccer too. I actually went to England and got to watch a couple, so that's pretty cool. So, and it just grew my love for the game even more. Yeah, I would say my most pet peeve is probably it's when I'm driving and there's slow people in front of me. I like to go fast, so clean mashed potatoes and gravy. My mom's got that recipe from my great grandma, so gotta shout her out. I would say that favorite teacher. I would say my favorite teacher has to be Mr. Wagner. He coached us in the middle school, 7th grade. Favorite coach? I've had a lot of them. Played many sports. I would say, besides the ones I have now, Jesse and Andy, I loved Ben. I loved playing with Blake Wiedenkamp. In football, I loved being coached by Coach Ty and Mr. Hookfin. So yeah. Probably just the friends, staying in touch with all of them. I've heard that's pretty hard out of high school. Kind of just deciding what to do in life, kind of getting all of that down. But yeah, definitely all my boys in the high school. 3 things. I'm gonna say my bed, my TV, and my Xbox. I work hard and don't make dumb decisions.
Being with the team and then just hanging out with all the other seniors and all the other lower classmen. And nothing really right now on Netflix, but I was watching Cobra Kai and I just finished that series. Pet peeve? Really almost anything could really set me off in a day, probably. Probably just a burger. Favorite teacher? I'd probably say Mr. Went. Probably seeing everyone every day, people who I've been with since like elementary school, just not seeing them every day and probably not being able to see them. After graduation, I plan on going to Iowa Lakes and then trying to get an associate's degree in nursing and then continue trying to get my bachelor's degree somewhere else, but also be in the working field during that time. When I leave home, probably my Xbox, my clothing, and my phone. Trust the process.
I don't know, the people, the coaches, it's just fun being around all of them. The Walking Dead, that's my go-to show. When people chew with their mouth open, that's a tough one. I eat a lot, so really anything. I mean, I don't really have any, but if I was gonna go with a favorite teacher, it'd probably be Mr. Halverson. He's just a cool dude. Probably the people I see every single day since elementary, or most of them at least, or middle school. I'm going to Iowa Lakes and then Iowa State, and I'm majoring in education. TV, PlayStation, and my pillow. Strive to be better every day. It goes fast.
Attention SMUnet.net email customers. As of June 1st, we will no longer be providing email service to customers. Our great internet service will continue and works with any email provider. Please contact us when your email address can be deactivated before June 1st. At that time, you can also let us know of your new email address. Please contact our customer service center at 712-580-5800 Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. or email us at support@smunet.net. We appreciate your assistance in making this a smooth transition.
We are set for senior night here at the Spencer Soccer Complex between the Spencer Tigers and the West Sioux Falcons. The Tigers in their home purple uniforms here tonight, and West Sioux in the road white uniforms with the red shorts. My name is Mark Magnuson, joined by Will Dybel. Will, the Spencer Tigers, a 13-4 record on the season, have climbed all the way up to number 7 in Class 2A. West Sioux coming into today's game 3 wins on the season, and the Tigers trying to continue to build and continue to grow as a team as they get ever closer to the postseason.
Yeah, and actually I think that really kind of shows you where this game might be ending up, is the Tigers really competitive-wise and in the same level as Storm Lake and Sergeant Bluff. You know, those are challenging teams, tough games for Spencer where they're good back and forth, even though definitely Spencer has come out ahead this year for sure. And that's not where West Sioux is at. Those teams have both pretty much dominated West Sioux at 7-0 and 5-0 this year. So we'll see how tonight's game goes.
Spencer Tigers are on the front foot here early. A couple of brief forays near the attacking area for Spencer, and the Tigers winning the ball back in midfield with Owen Olson. I'll run through the starters here on senior night. Eli Hookfin in goal, and the back line for the Tigers, Case Cothran, who's on the ball now, Derek Huss, Ashton Musser, and Isaac Peterson. In midfield, Braden Hyder, Owen Olson, Ian Youngdahl. Here's Kendall Schmidt-Lear, Kenny Rash, and Christian Hookfin in the starting lineup tonight for Spencer. Again, this is senior night. Here's Braden Hyder with a shot from outside the box, picked up by a West Sioux defender and cleared at least partially. Isaac Peterson gets the touch, and now West Sioux able to find some room on this left-hand side. Omar Rivera on the ball now for the Falcons. Owen Olson has been pestering whoever has been on the ball in the midfield for West Sioux here in these early minutes, and has helped to win the ball back again for Spencer. Here is one of those seniors, Case Cothran. And now Eli Hookfin will be called into action for the first time in the match. Kind of cool here on senior night to see Christian in the starting lineup and his brother Eli.
Absolutely. I mean, Christian's just such a hard worker, constantly giving his best in all these situations, and it's something nice to see that out here on the starting lineup today.
How many times have we seen Christian this year come into a game and immediately go into a dead sprint, 40 or 50 yards, getting involved? Here is Owen Olson. Owen will drive into the box. Still Owen Olson might have a chance at a shot. Left-footed ball to Kenny Rash right on the edge of the 18. And now Owen Olson back onto the ball again, and Owen will take the opportunity to strike the ball, and a good save made by Ernesto Flores. Kept the ball in front of him, made sure that did not bounce away.
Owen took a little bit of a hesitation there. If he would have just taken that left shot right when he had it, I think he might have had an easier shot than where he ended up taking his shot from. Just trying to debate whether or not is he going to cross it or is he going to take that shot. Might have cost him an opportunity there.
Will, have you seen Owen continuing to, as this season moves along, I guess, trust his abilities at this level of the varsity level of soccer, where he's knowing that he fits right in this level of soccer?
Oh, yeah. As a sophomore, he has definitely developed, and I think, again, these challenging teams and games that they've played, you've seen the younger group develop very heavily as we've gone through. And the guidance from the older seniors, Ian Youngdahl, we talked about this earlier, the years of experience he has on the varsity and leading this team has probably been crucial to helping the development of those younger sophomores.
Here's Kenny Rash with a shot from outside the box. That will bounce awkwardly in front of Flores, who was able to get his body behind the ball and make sure that it did not get by him.
On this heavy north wind you mentioned earlier too, I mean, we've got probably a little bit more. They're going to need to bring that ball in lower and get a little bit closer on goal. Their shots are kind of hanging and drifting a little bit, and they're so used to those long shots. They need to be a little bit more aggressive in getting it towards the goal before taking those long distance shots.
Yeah, the wind is actually flipped here from what we're used to seeing. The wind is out of the south for this early kickoff. 5 o'clock start time got started a little bit later here today, but the wind is actually blowing at the face of the Spencer Tigers in this first half. Here is West Sioux in a potentially good spot for a ball in, but Derek Huss takes it away, and Derek, not being challenged, will continue his run. Still Derek Huss. Plays it to Ian Youngdahl. Good first touch from Ian. Still Ian Youngdahl tried to make the diagonal pass to Christian Hookfin, who gets there, moves it to his right foot, and just as he was about to shoot, you think, had the ball taken away. Tigers hunting that ball back high up the pitch. Kenny Rash had it for a moment. Here's Jason Topete, who is the leading goal scorer for West Sioux. He scored 15 goals this year. He's certainly been a dangerous player for the Falcons. And smart defending there by the West Sioux defender to use his body and keep Christian Hookfin away from the ball.
Yeah, and what you were saying about him earlier, I mean, that box-to-box running that he does as a midfielder is fantastic. His effort putting forth, that's hard to do. It's an extremely demanding piece of being a midfielder, getting all the way up, all the way back as part of the play, and he does such a good job with his effort there doing that.
Omar Topete was the defender who watched the ball go out for that goal kick and now is defending again on the far touchline, but Isaac Peterson will have the throw for Spencer. Throws it into the back line and Ashton Musser. And now the Tigers will switch the field. Derek Huss to the feet of Kendall Schmidt. Now Braden Hyder looking for Owen Olsen. It was the right idea. Ball bounces back to Owen Olsen almost. And the clearance away from West Sioux, but only as far as Isaac Peterson. Now Kenny Rash. Kenny. Touch to get around the first defender, but the help defender came over just in time.
And you can see the pressure already Spencer's putting on West Sioux. They're just resorting to clearing the ball over and over when it gets back there. They don't want to try to risk the shot and just clear it.
West Sioux with another long ball, this time played right down the touchline, and it almost stayed in play, which would have created an issue for the Tiger back line. Fortunately, it went out. Now Spencer quickly gets the ball into Christian Hookfin. Jason Topete puts his foot through the ball. Derek Huss helping to usher it back to the keeper, Eli Hookfin. Now Derek on the ball again for Spencer, calling for some help from midfield. We'll link up with Owen Olsen. Owen tried to let it run. Almost had it taken away. Here's Kendall Schmidt, wide for Christian Hookfin, a little bit behind Christian, but he will get to it and keep it in play. Now Isaac Peterson, trying to pick out Kendall Schmidt. Braden Hyder on the ball. And now West Sioux back to it. Some open space in midfield in the early minutes. Both teams have had chances to run with the ball. Here's Kenny Rash to Kendall Schmidt. Kendall does a nice job of holding up the ball. Owen Olsen arrives and with the right foot, a little bit of a missed kick. And it will be West Sioux's keeper, Ernesto Flores, to collect. And look at Flores with the big ball switching the field all the way bouncing to Eli Hookfin.
And it looks like West Sioux is literally just trying the deep breakaway pass. That's their goal right now. And you mentioned there really isn't. They're stretching out Spencer because they've kind of picked up on that. They're just going for that deep ball. And that will stretch out the midfield a bit more. But Spencer, I think, has a bit more experience in handling that stretch out and still being able to space well versus I haven't seen West Sioux really keep their spacing when the field has been spread.
How about defending that really long ball like that? Is it important for one player to attack it and everyone else to drop off? How do you even calculate what to do on that?
Yeah, I absolutely would. You kind of do the front back because, like you said earlier, there's just the one player that's staying forward, Ramirez, and you keep one kind of hanging on him a little bit farther, or a little bit behind one in front, and that one in front will be winning the balls. And like I said, it's a bit different depending on if they're keeping somebody spaced a little bit earlier. But the only time we're seeing that is in a set play, like our goal kick right now. Otherwise, they're not having that spacing, so you can really keep it forward.
Derek Huss and Ashton Musser each getting a header on the ball here. Spencer ends up with it, and it's Kenny Rash. Kenny with a chance to run with the ball. Sizes up the defender, gets around him. Now Kenny will shoot from just outside the box, and Ernesto Flores again watches it safely into his hands and is able to make the save. Braden Hyder has been collecting the ball in midfield and laying it off to teammates in this opening 10-minute period. One-touch passing with Owen Olson, and now Braden Hyder is away to Kendall Schmidt. Almost returned it to Braden. And the clearance wide for West Sioux. Isaac Peterson will slide in, win the challenge. Takes the ball away as well. Still Isaac Peterson. And West Sioux able to clear, but only for a corner kick, and Spencer will have its first corner of the match.
That was a great touch challenge by Peterson there. And really, their 1-2s is something that I hadn't seen right away from Spencer. I was kind of wondering where they were. And so that is their bread and butter here again, too, getting into the wind with those shots off. So good to see that coming back into play a bit more.
Owen Olson will set up for this corner kick, the lefty to deliver to the near post. First header won by West Sioux, falls for Isaac Peterson, a missed kick from Isaac, trying to line up the spectacular volley. Tigers back onto the ball. And now West Sioux comes away with it. It's Jason Topete, playmaker, goal scorer for this West Sioux team. And look at him taking on 3 purple jerseys. Topete still with the ball. Braden Hyder got a touch, and then Topete will be whistled for the foul against Isaac Peterson. I'm sure it's a case where West Sioux would love to have Jason Topete high up the pitch, but they know that they need all the help they can get right now in different areas of the field.
Absolutely. And I think that they're knowing that they're not going to be able to move the ball forward, and they focused on speed only.
Here's Ian Youngdahl able to get the cross into the far post. And Owen Olson trying to keep this attack alive for Spencer. But West Sioux does a fairly capable job in getting the ball away, but then lose it. And Spencer back into the box looking for Ian Youngdahl. Only as far as Braden Hyder. Hyder will shoot from distance, and Ernesto Flores could not deal with it. Braden Hyder with the shot from distance, and it pays off for the Spencer Tigers into the wind and all.
Yeah, I'm going to say that he must have heard my comment earlier and said, "I'll show you that I can shoot it from really far out against this wind." So it was a well-placed shot, and actually the wind allowed it to come down just enough to go right under that the top post there. And very well placed from that far out.
And being pushed into the wind like that, too, it might have moved the ball around a little bit and made things a little more difficult for Flores, who could not track the ball. Tigers take the early lead 1-0. And now Braden Hyder again. He and Owen Olson combining regularly in the opening minutes of this match. Here's Derek Huss. Now Owen Olson.
Tiger goal by Braden Hyder.
Owen Olson lays it back to Braden Hyder. Now Jason Topete. Topete with some very quick feet and good close control. Eli Hookfin called off of his line to make the catch.
I'm really a bit surprised. I know that right now Spencer is all kind of moving back as a full line, which usually you're going to see a challenge coming forward a little bit sooner than that. I don't know if it's because of the wind or they're worried about the speed, but
Referee pulling the ball back for a free kick for West Sioux. And Jason Topete will stand over this. Ball directly at midfield. Good delivery towards Eli Hookfin's goal, but it drifts over everything. With the wind, that was going to be a difficult shot to control. Spencer making a substitution. Ian McCrae and Owen King come into the match. Kenny Rash and Christian Hookfin will get a breather.
Owen King.
Isaac Peterson to Ashton Musser. Back to Isaac Peterson. Now Ian McCrae on the ball. First touch of the match for Ian. To Kendall Schmidt. Back to Ian McCrae. Owen King. Good strength on the ball from Owen. Squares it to the middle of the field. West Sioux dangerously. Spencer wins it back. Braden Hyder once again. Kendall Schmidt helps it on to Ian McCray, and now Ian with some good control. Passes beyond Owen King, and West Sioux will have to clear for a throw-in.
Now, one thing I don't think many people would know about Kendall is that Kendall was a goalkeeper his entire soccer career until high school. And so it's honestly often hard for those players to kind of switch to the field, but he's doing a really good job tonight of creating opportunities up front, which, maybe that comes from seeing so many against you as the keeper, but very different.
Here's Owen Olsen with the low ball driven in, and that was dangerous. Just cleared at the last moment by West Sioux with Ian Youngdahl and Ian McCray waiting in the box for that ball to come in, and it will be a corner kick for Spencer. Kind of wondered, how would the Tigers look in the early going here tonight with it being senior night, and I believe wasn't last Friday the last day for seniors, so kind of wonder how that factors in, but the fact that Spencer's coming out and taking an early lead, I think a very good sign. Here's Ian McCray's low bouncing ball. And now a foot race. Isaac Peterson trying to get to that first, and Isaac able to keep his feet and win the ball. Owen King back to Isaac Peterson. Now Derek Huss. Owen King. And here's Jason Topete. Plays it wide for Omar Rivera. Topete back for Rivera. And look at Ian Youngdahl track all the way back to defend this.
And that's the experience of Ian. We talk about so many times how the 1-2 is usually, especially along the midfield, that's what gets teams, whether it's against us, for us, that's where you move the ball very well. And Ian read that completely well, came back, took it right back from that player.
Ball through the middle. Ashton Musser had to deal with that, and he did. Now Isaac Peterson for Owen King. To Ian McCray, who slips through. Kendall Schmidt to Owen Olsen. This could be a chance, and Owen bumped into, lost the ball, and West Sioux allowed to clear it. We talked a little bit about Owen Olsen being a sophomore and growing into the year. For all the players that are his age, sophomore or younger, they did not have a season last year. I mean, just completely erased, so this is their first year at the varsity level.
Very true. Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. You honestly wonder how many of them would have seen some varsity playing time as a freshman.
Chance for the header there from Owen King, but the Tigers still have a chance in the box. Davis Hogue got a shot on goal, but the save made by Ernesto Flores.
And Ashton is honestly, I think, one of our best in-the-air challengers on the defensive side. He and Derek both do a fantastic job with that, but he reads that ball out of the air extremely well. I always like watching him come up for those challenges.
Here's Owen Olsen. On the ball, lays it back to Ashton Musser, his fellow sophomore. Now Isaac Peterson. To Owen King, and now Davis Hogue. To the feet of Owen Olsen. Now Kenny Rash, who's back into the match. Kenny tried to ride that challenge in the box, and it was an important challenge from Juan Topete. Almost halfway through the first half, Spencer leads 1-0 on the goal from Braden Hyder in the 12th minute. Jason Topete on the ball now for West Sioux. Case Cothran reading that well, gets in the way. One thing you can certainly say in this first 20 minutes, Will, is every outfield player for Spencer has been involved in the passing.
Oh yes, the movement there and the passing and that's the sign of a really talented team. Is in the back, they're not afraid to keep passing it back even all the way to the keeper. And defenders that aren't as experienced, they might be very talented. Their first reaction is usually to just clear it.
You can tell who's comfortable on the ball is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Out for another West Sioux throw-in, looking for Jason Topete, and Ashton Musser knew exactly where that ball was headed. Now Kenny Rash. Kenny gets around the first defender, takes on the second. Will he have a shot? Yes, he does. Kenny Rash. Pace and power wrapped into one. And the Spencer Tigers will add to their lead, now in front 2-0.
You are not going to stop Kenny in a foot race. No, and he's got such a good, talented, quick touch there. Once it turned into a foot race there, you knew that shot was coming.
And Kenny with some pretty good strength, too, as he had players bouncing off of him. Was able to stay with good balance and wasn't put off on his shot at all. Kenny Rash with the goal. And the Tigers take a 2-0 lead. Two completely different types of goals in this match. The first from Braden Hyder came from outside the box, was kind of a looping effort. This time it was Kenny Rash driving all the way into the box and scoring from about 6 yards out. Eli Hookfin had to deal with that.
I wonder where the thought process is there, if that's something the coaches are encouraging them to do, or if they're just honestly taking the shots on their own accord there, West Sioux. But that's curious what the thought process is for those long shots.
Kenny Rash and Owen Olson combining on several one-touch passes. But the final ball wasn't the link-up they were looking for. Now Ian Youngdahl chases after this. Takes a funny deflection, but ends up with Owen King. Owen King now skips past the defender. Gets it to Owen Olson. He will shoot, find the corner, but it's just wide. Ernesto Flores was concerned enough that he dove to his left.
It was a good dig there. I mean, very, very well placed, like you said, on the ground into the wind. Obviously had the keeper worried. Very, very good shot.
Ernesto Flores trying to play this ball to a wide area towards Marco Mendoza. Now Isaac Peterson to Davis Hogue. For Owen King, and now Kenny Rash. Kenny turns, passes for Owen, lets it go. Ian Youngdahl will collect it. Back to Owen Olson. To Davis Hogue. Now Case Cothran. Case being hounded by Omar Rivera, who has worked hard in this first 20 minutes of this match. To Jason Topete. You can just see the West Sioux team kind of, everyone gets that extra boost of energy when Jason Topete is on the ball. Here's Owen Olson for Kenny Rash. Pass and move. The formula for the Tigers right now. Isaac Peterson to Owen Olson. Back to Owen. He'll shoot and put it outside the post.
And here's that spacing again that Spencer has. So they've got their defensive players. And Case came back a little bit already. So did Derek. But you really had an even spread of the formation versus West Sioux was limited to one person towards the front, and everybody else was much, much closer to the 18, the box. And you can't move the ball forward that way. Spencer just does a great job of positioning in the field.
Here's Case Cothran to Owen Olson. And now Owen will run at the back line of the Falcons. Looking for Ian Youngdahl, and he almost slid that through to him. And now West Sioux with some room in midfield. Jason Topete, however, not going to be able to catch up to this. And it will run all the way back to Eli Hookfin. Eli Hookfin having to kick into the wind, not going to be able to get it as far as some of the clearances from Ernesto Flores at the other end. Now Ashton Musser has to cover some ground to get out and defend this wide ball. Ball put in will be collected by Eli Hookfin, who was off of his line in plenty of time. Ball hangs up just a little bit in midfield. Davis Hogue. Back to Eli Hookfin.
Now that one, I'm assuming they just didn't call that offsides because he didn't get to the ball in time. But Tepete hadn't gotten back up in front of the defenders there. Really should have been offsides on that piece.
Derek Huss, we've seen Derek step up from his spot in the back to play the ball several times in this first half, being aggressive. Here's a chance for Ian Youngdahl to almost win it. Instead, Ian McCrae on the ball in midfield has some time to pick out a pass. Ian Youngdahl somehow ends up with it, and now Ian driving into the box, and just as he goes to shoot was bobbled into a little bit by the West Sioux player, and the shot not on target.
Took advantage of the miscommunication there between the two West Sioux players who both thought the other one was going to get it, and he just hit that one touch to get past them to get that shot off.
Would you say that of this group of Spencer Tiger players, is Ian kind of the Mr. Consistent?
I think so. I really do. I think Ian is just a well of experience. He's an amazing team player. He's always looking towards the team as a whole.
Here's Owen Olsen with a potential chance and a last-ditch save from Juan Topete just in time to take it off of his toe. Eli Hookfin comes all the way out of the box to clear. Isaac Peterson now. Isaac Peterson has it taken away. West Sioux does have some numbers forward, but the giveaway disappointing for the West Sioux attack. Now Kenny Rash to Davis Hogue. Back to Owen Olsen. Owen will measure this ball for Kenny Rash. Kenny shoots. Save made with the feet by Ernesto Flores. Attack still alive for Spencer. Owen Olsen will shoot, and Flores scrambles across to push it wide. What a great save.
That first run by Kenny was fantastic. It was a well-placed ball right into the side. It was a good challenge by the keeper there. I mean, that saved the goal because that was an on-target shot by Kenny, and it was impressive for him to get back in time to stop the second shot, too.
How about as well making the save with his feet on the right side of the goal mouth, then he scrambles over to the left and makes the save with his gloves.
Versatile, very versatile.
Owen Olsen's delivery this time will swing in towards the goal with the left foot. However, it has plenty of power on it, takes it to the edge of the box. Now Ian McCrae fires it back in, and another save made by Ernesto Flores.
And for the Tigers, Hookfin.
Christian Hookfin has come back into the match for Spencer. And now West Sioux with a potential opportunity. Jason Tepete hits it early, and a save made by Eli Hookfin.
Now something, and I know I should have paid better attention in previous games, but so far in this game, the Spencer boys have not followed a lot after the ricocheted shots, and the keeper has been not picking it up nearly as much as ricocheting.
Owen Olsen with a decent chance there. Ball continued to rise on the shot.
And I was going to be bringing up the girls on the Spencer side have honestly scored the majority of their goals off of those ricochets and the follow-ups, and wondering if I've been just missing that from the boys' side.
Omar Rivera on this near side calling for the ball. He's in a little bit of space. Instead, Flores puts it through the middle of the field. Now Owen King working hard to win the ball back. Picks out Kenny Rash. Great control by Kenny. Kenny turns and will shoot, and that was not far off as Flores gets just enough of it to push it outside the post. How about that first touch from Kenny Rash on the turn?
That was amazing. I mean, he is extremely talented. His rip off of that turn was fantastic. I mean, again, it was more of that cross shot, which is a hard shot to make. As we talked about in a different game, the keeper's going to the opposite side of the goalpost, so even the keeper kind of reaching back to make that save is impressive. But the shot in and of itself is those hard shots to make saves on.
Bouncing ball in the box, not cleared, and Owen King will have the cleanup just in front of goal, and Will, almost on cue, the Tigers get that second ball set up in the box, and Owen King finds the finish.
Obviously, it's something I just need to talk about each time, and
That's
then
true.
I get to
Speak
see
it
him
into
do
existence.
It was a good follow-up there. It was a well-placed corner. Very well-placed.
And Owen King was the player who had the ball fall near him, was able to stay with it and direct it home. And Owen King now the third different goal scorer for the Tigers here tonight.
Tiger goal in 28th minute by Owen King.
And going back to talking about Kenny and his shots and goal scoring this year, in the pregame we were kind of off air talking about Tiger players who just suddenly, well, and everybody had last year wiped away clean. I mean, there was no soccer season, so you lose a year in theory of development, but we've seen players like Kenny just continue to get better and better and better, and now as a senior, you know, they look like the finished product as a senior.
Absolutely. And it has to speak to probably what they were still doing without the season. I mean, they had to have been still practicing, still working, obviously probably by themselves during the pandemic time frame, but those players that we're seeing now that didn't lose their touch had to have been still working on it in the offseason.
That's a good point. I don't think the soccer ball was just sitting in the closet collecting dust by any stretch of the imagination. Davis Hogue helps on the pass to Owen Olsen with 10:40 left to play in the first half. Spencer leading 3-0. It's been a very strong first half performance. Ian McRae will carry this all the way to the edge of the box and then tries the shot. Didn't strike it as cleanly as he would have hoped, but it does cause Ernesto Flores to have to make the save.
And that was an offsides call. So Topete is actually kind of being his own worst enemy here. He's taking his time getting back, and he's not getting back on sides in time for these balls. He's actually coming from behind.
Ashton Musser to Ian McRae. Ian McRae to Owen Olsen. Owen, time on the ball, lines up the shot, tried to place it, and it loops just over the crossbar.
So I'm not sure if he's getting so tired or not, but, you know, Spencer defense is not going to be hanging back. They're moving forward. They're moving with the play, and I don't know if he is tired from these runs, but he's definitely not getting up in the same speed.
Ernesto Flores with the goal kick, a low bouncing ball this time. Owen Olsen with the takeaway in midfield. This pass takes Kenny Rash into a wide area, but chance to cross with the left foot, hangs it up to the back post. Christian Hookfin just over Christian. And Christian Hookfin gets to it, finds Owen Olsen. Owen into the box for Kenny, and that's just over Kenny Rash's head. That was in line with Kenny. If that's a little bit lower, he probably gets his head to that.
I agree. I think, in that point, I think he was honestly trying to account for the wind there a little bit. Maybe got it a little bit too hard and just slightly over Kenny's head.
And for the Tigers, Hyder, Chapman.
This first half, the midfield battle has been absolutely dominated by the purple shirts. Will the Tigers have controlled this entire game in the midfield?
Yeah, and again, that placement is huge, because when you have control of the center and are staying in position, the other team is having to run to keep up with you constantly. And you're wearing them down at the same time as keeping your own pace, keeping your own stamina going. And Spencer does. I mean, even right now, I just want to point out again that we have the positioning, the spacing extremely well. You see the purple jerseys spread out pretty evenly and making runs at the front, but then also providing support in the back. Not so with West Sioux.
Here's a nice one-touch pass for Ian McRae. Ian digs it away from the West Sioux player. Still Ian McRae, and a save at the near post. Kenny Rash has it fall to him, was able to strike it cleanly, and West Sioux survives for the moment. Here's Derek Huss. Derek with some jukes to get around defenders into the box. Now Braden Hyder, scorer of one of the Tiger goals. He'll shoot from distance again, but this time Ernesto Flores able to watch it in.
And I can't emphasize enough the importance of that spacing.
Topete has the ball fall to him. This could be interesting. Jason Topete on the move. He'll shoot early, and Eli Hookfin has it covered at the near post. You can see the ability of Jason Topete. Even in just a small window of opportunity right there, he's able to get the shot on target. Now Rivera trying the long diagonal. Ian McCray. Kendall Schmidt to Owen Olson. 6:45 left to play first half. Spencer in front 3-0. Kendall to Ian. Back to Kendall. To Kenny Rash. Kenny will shoot and was just leaning back ever so slightly, and the ball rises. I thought for a moment almost a little bit too unselfish there from Kendall. I thought he might have a chance at the shot.
And I think that kind of that play, I mean, it's very, very unselfish, very good as a teammate, but it also can come from not having that starting experience quite as much as everybody else, where you want to make sure that you're not letting your team down. And Kendall is very thoughtful of his team in those senses.
Jason Topete wide for Omar Rivera. Now West Sioux able to build up into an attacking area. Spencer back with numbers and able to defend. Ian McCray wins the ball to Ashton Musser. Now Kendall Schmidt towards Kenny Rash. Christian Hookfin. And now Case Cawthron. Played by Hernan Garcia Topete. Braden Hyder. Kenny Rash. Now Ian McCray. Kendall Schmidt. Brings it inside, shoots, and it's just outside the post. Another great flowing move from the Tigers, and it's going to result in a corner kick.
I was going to say, he had tried to set that up, and the West Sioux defender right there just tried to kick it out as quick as he could. It honestly looked like it was almost a really good shot from Kendall, but just a touch too late.
So Ian McCray and Owen Olson have kind of been trading duties on these corners. This will be Ian McCray to the near post. Good ball in, bounces into, I believe Braden Hyder actually got a touch on that. Now Owen Olson sets up the defender, beats the first defender. Now the second, they run into each other. Owen Olson still with the ball. Plays it to Christian Hookfin. Now Braden Hyder, and Braden's shot was always rising, but it was close.
And the play there, I mean, you just see they're making West Sioux run back and forth with those quick touches and keep moving the ball until they can create that open opportunity, even though it was literally a 1-2 back and forth pretty much twice right there.
Tigers are working the ball very well in this first half.
West Sioux, Ramirez.
Here's Ian McCray for Owen Olson. Kenny Rash making a horizontal run almost, and the flag is up against the Tiger forward. Thought that Kenny might have gone a step too soon there.
Yeah, I would agree. He was just one step too early. The ref had waited a second to see if he was actually going to get to the ball in time. Once he did, raise that flag. It was a good effort, just a bit too quick.
West Sioux will try the long ball again over the top. This time it pays off. Jason Topete will get there. Slight hesitation. Shoots and is able to beat the Tiger back line with the goal. 3:24 from halftime. West Sioux claws one back. And no surprise, number 7, the goal scorer for the Falcons.
It was a very good run on his part there. And actually it was a smart decision because at the time, Eli and the defenders were really both hesitating. One, is Eli coming out? Are we relying on him, or are we supposed to go back and get there? And there was a miscommunication which allowed him that shot to get it off before they finished.
37th minute by Jason Topete.
So West Sioux on the scoreboard. Spencer leads 3-1. Spencer back into the box with the ball. Owen Olson shot blocked. Back to Owen. Now Kenny Rash with an attempt, and it's banged off the post. Kenny hit that about as cleanly as you would want. And now the foul called against Spencer, and it will be a free kick to West Sioux.
I'm going to say I don't see that foul on Spencer there. I'm not sure I saw Kendall fall or get knocked down. I'm not sure I saw that.
Spencer trying to win this ball in midfield, and it will be Derek Huss that comes up with it, and now Derek on the move. Derek Huss running the show. Picks out Ian McCrae. Ian shapes for a shot, takes a deflection, and spins into the hands of Ernesto Flores. Big delivery pass midfield. Case Cawthron deals with it. Game a little bit stretched here all of a sudden. Now Christian Hookfin. Christian with a little hesitation dribble. Gets around the defender. Puts in a very good ball. West Sioux able to clear. West Sioux trying the long direct pass once again. And the Tigers back to defend it. Put it out for the throw. Braden Hyder to Ian McCrae. 90 seconds left to play first half. Owen Olson on the ball. To Derek Huss, now Kendall Schmidt. Owen making the run. To Kenny Rash. Kenny stays onside. The shot is into the corner, and the Tigers get the goal back. 4-1 Spencer after Kenny Rash's second of the half.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm sure that those Tigers are comparing themselves, and they were comparing themselves to their highest competition that are going to be coming up here in regionals, which is going to be Sergeant Bluff and Storm Lake. And both those teams shut out West Sioux, so I'm sure they got upset with themselves at the minute that goal happened. And I saw them pick up their pace. I'm not sure if maybe I was imagining that, but I felt like they definitely did.
And the Tigers come right back to regain that 3-goal advantage, Will, in about 2 minutes of game time. So it was, like you said, it was a nice little jolt of energy for the Tigers, it seemed like. And Spencer might not be done yet in this first half. Kendall Schmidt, he will shoot, and it's just outside the post. The Tigers still hungry for more goals here in this first half, leading 4-1, 35 seconds left to play. Kenny Rash. Does Spencer have another attack in it? Still Kenny. For Kendall Schmidt. Kendall trying to line up a pass back to a teammate in the middle of the box. Everybody looks over to the scoreboard as time starts to run down.
7, 6.
The pass into Owen Olson. Owen will put his foot through it.
2.
And the first half will come to a close with Spencer in front 4-1. The Tigers score 4, allow 1 goal about 3.5 minutes from the halftime break, but find the instant answer just a few minutes following West Sioux's goal to take a 3-goal advantage into the half. First goal from Spencer came in the 12th minute. It was from Braden Hyder on a shot from distance. In the 20th minute, Kenny Rash dribbled all the way into the box, was able to shoot from close range and score. In the 28th minute, it was Owen King on a bouncing ball in the box that fell to him, found the finish. And then in the 39th minute, Owen Olson lays the pass to Kenny Rash, who finds the finishing touch to answer the goal for West Sioux, which came in the 37th minute, and it was from Jason Tapete on a nice place shot after the long ball over the top. That has kind of been the strategy for West Sioux in this first half. Spencer may have been, dealing with that pretty well throughout the half. Did get caught off guard that one time, but other than that, it was a very much a half in which the Tigers were the dominant force.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I actually credit West Sioux. That's probably your best strategy against such a strong Spencer team in this situation. When you've got a heavy wind behind you and you've got one all-star player that you're relying on, trying to set up situations where he can have that one-on-one is probably your best bet. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you're not going to outplay them on the field. And so having that was a smart decision, but the problem was, again, they didn't have the spacing. They didn't have anybody present in the center to get that forward, so they were relying just on long, deep balls. And But they did get that one opportunity out of that.
And you could kind of see that sense of urgency from Jason Topete when he would get the ball. It was generally going to be an early shot because he didn't want to allow the defenders to get into place and get back and defend his effort. He was able to score that one from just outside the 18, and it was a nice finish. And West Sioux now trails 4-1 at the halftime break. Spencer in front by 3 goals. When we come back, the Spencer Tigers will try to add to their goal tally in the second half. You're watching Spencer Tiger Boys Soccer on SMU Channel 3, the Spencer Channel.
My favorite part about being on the soccer team is just being with the guys every day and being with my friends. I watch The Office, favorite show. My pet peeves is if someone is chewing too loudly, it kind of annoys me, but that's really it. Pizza. My favorite coach, shout out Jesse Keeler. He's just great. I'm going to miss my friends. I'm going to be attending the University of Nebraska and majoring in accounting. My phone, my shoes, and my clothes. Go all out in everything you do.
My favorite part is I like to play with my friends. We're doing an excellent job training, and I think being in a school and having this sport is awesome. I like to watch sports. When people make a lot of noises sometimes. Tacos, I like tacos. I don't have a favorite one. I think all of them are the best because they teach you what they know, and they give you the best learning to give you something in the future. Teachers, friends, maybe waking up at the morning, came to school, and have a little chat with friends. My plans are going to be work and help my family and buy a car, I think. My phone, my wallet, and my keys. To never give up, they have to work hard, and I think having these coaches will help them to progress.
Getting out on the field, playing with teammates pretty much. The Premier League's going on, so kind of watching that a little bit. Loud chewing, I guess. I like shrimp. I like Jesse because he's kind of funny and stepped up this year, so definitely the sports. I'm going to miss a lot. It's going to be a big part. Probably go to Iowa State University. My Xbox, TV, and some clothes. Take every minute you can and use it to the best.
It is the time of year for our annual hydrant flushing. This is to maintain the over 600 hydrants we have throughout the community of Spencer. We are flushing each one and making sure they are well maintained and ready for use if needed. Watch our website for the area we are flushing. Remember to put in your basement sewer plugs when we are flushing hydrants in your area. You may notice low water pressure and some slight discoloration during this time. Please contact us if you have any questions.
Attention SMUnet.net email customers. As of June 1st, we will no longer be providing email service to customers. Our great internet service will continue and works with any email provider. Please contact us when your email address can be deactivated before June 1st. At that time, you can also let us know of your new email address. Please contact our customer service center at 712-580-5800 Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. or email us at support@smunet.net. We appreciate your assistance in making this a smooth transition.
We are set for the start of the second half between the Spencer Tigers and the West Sioux Falcons, and we have some light rain falling here at the Spencer Soccer Complex as the Tigers are back onto the pitch. West Sioux was able to get the goal just 4 minutes from the halftime break, but the Tigers would find a fourth to regain that 3-goal advantage, and Spencer now leads 4-1. The Tigers really dominated that first half, although West Sioux did create some chances, namely in the form of Jason Topete, who has proven himself to be the big-time difference maker for this West Sioux team. He was the goal scorer in the first half. And Spencer will start things off here in the second, and as you can see, the wind at the back of the Tigers in the second half.
And I'm wondering how they're going to maybe change their strategy here, because their whole strategy had been create opportunities one-on-one for Topete, and with the wind, you know, there is that possibility of that. I don't foresee that now that Spencer isn't going to have to worry about those deep balls from the wind.
Here's Owen Olson with some room in midfield to Kenny Rash. Back for Owen, and it just evades him and will roll over the end line for a goal kick. Ernesto Flores had plenty to do in the first half, made some great saves, but still the Tigers able to put 4 past the goalkeeper for the Falcons. And here's his first kick into the wind, and you can see much different as opposed to the other end of the pitch, and a clean tackle in the box, according to the referee. Christian Hookfin right back on his feet, attacking the ball.
That is a risky tackle in the box. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't know. I mean, sliding from the side.
I even held my breath a little bit. I was waiting to see the outcome of that challenge. Anytime you commit to a challenge like that, there's always that moment of hesitation. Ian Youngdahl trying to cross the ball, a little bit of a missed kick. Now Derek Huss, like Velcro, stuck to Jason Topete, trying to deal with that ball out of the air. Derek wins it. We'll find Owen Olson. And Owen's pass, too much mustard on it as it skips past Kendall Schmidt.
I mean, they're placing those balls to the right direction, just like you said, a little bit too much oomph behind him. I'm wondering, they're just getting used to maybe the new wind here.
And that is an adjustment period. You have to, I mean, even a through ball on the ground that you might think you don't have to adjust for the wind as much, you do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Owen Olson cutting in field to Kenny Rash. Kenny with a difficult angle to shoot, and the ball goes high and wide off the foot of the Tigers senior wearing the captain's armband.
Lost his balance there a little bit, and his body leaned back to pull it up a little bit too high.
Ernesto Flores only gets it as far as Isaac Peterson for Spencer. Now Kendall Schmidt to Christian Hookfin. Christian turns on the Jets. West Sioux was okay with the clearance there as long as they would only allow a throw-in, and that's what the Tigers will have. Isaac Peterson looking for Kenny Rash, and Kenny not a lot of room on that end line, and it goes out for a goal kick. Ernesto Flores has tried to kick a little bit of a lower trajectory on these goal kicks into the wind. Let's see what he opts for here on his third attempt.
When his players are not helping him much, they're not coming back for it in the slightest.
And Braden Hyder's able to win that header rather easily, and it starts the Tigers away. I think at some point the Falcons need to start going to more towards the touch line, either left or right, instead of right down the middle on those goal kicks.
Absolutely. When you're going straight into the wind, you need to give a short pass option for that keeper. Otherwise, you're just setting it up for another shot.
Kenny Rash puts his foot through it, and my goodness, that was an arrow, but it was just over the crossbar.
Another shot just like that.
And with those giveaways on the goal kicks, it's so demoralizing for your team, too, because you have the ball, and you're just setting up Spencer for an attack almost instantly if the Tigers are able to win it just like this. Braden Hyder to Kendall Schmidt. Christian Hookfin. Now Braden Hyder to Owen Olson. Owen will shoot, and Ernesto Flores is able to make the stop and then hold on.
It was a good follow by Kendall because Flores had lost it for just a second there, and if it would have just been a second longer, Kendall could have gotten that shot back off.
Here's Jason Topete. Chance to control the ball and allow his teammates to come forward. Cannot link up on the pass. He was looking for Omar Rivera. Case Cothran. 5 minutes gone in the second half. 4-1 Spencer. Goals scored from Braden Hyder, Owen King, and Kenny Rash with 2 goals for Spencer in the first half. Here's Ashton Musser to Kenny Rash. Kenny looking for Kendall Schmidt, and Kendall colliding with the West Sioux player. Looks like he's okay. Now Braden Hyder. Owen Olsen able to get the ball away from the defender to Kendall Schmidt, and Kendall had just straight offside.
Just moving a little bit too fast. I will say, I've coached Kendall in a couple different sports as he's been growing up in his time, and he always goes 110%, which has resulted in a few concussions. But very, very tough player.
Braden Hyder has the ball skipped just past him, but he's back to it. And now Kenny Rash is away. Kenny on the move, running at goal, shoots, and the save made by the feet of Ernesto Flores, but it somehow falls for Kenny in the box. West Sioux gets it away for the moment. Braden Hyder puts the ball back in, back to Rash again, and Kenny gets the goal in the end as the ball somehow finds a way to him. Stayed in the box and made himself available.
Mm-hmm. Did he just, I think I might have seen him just point maybe to his parents and put up the number 3. I really do think. I think maybe it was parents' night, senior night.
And that is the hat trick for Kenny Rash here tonight. And the Tigers have their 5th. Kenny Rash with the hat trick. And Spencer on the ball again in midfield. Kenny plays the early ball for Kendall Schmidt, and Kendall will chase after this and get there first. Crosses, but couldn't get his foot completely around it, and it's too deep over the end line.
Again, though, Kendall's his drive here is just fantastic. He is constantly giving it his all when he's getting down there, and it doesn't matter if his chances of getting that ball are 5% or 90%. He's going the same intensity to try to go get that ball.
West Sioux will have a free kick, actually, not a throw-in. Johnny Ramirez, the junior, to take this free kick. Kenny Rash to Owen Olsen. Owen trying to play it into the path of Ian Youngdahl. And Ian almost getting there. 2 defenders trying to deal with that ball, and still Spencer will have a throw-in in a very far advanced position. Ian Youngdahl looks like he's winding up for a big throw into the box here, potentially. Here it comes. Kenny Rash will flick it on, but it's too deep and out of play.
And I think that, and we've mentioned this now a couple times, if West Sioux does not start giving a short pass to this keeper, it is just going to be shot after shot from Spencer here, because he's going deep again. And you're not going to win against somebody with height like Hyder.
Yeah, Braden Hyder has won the majority of these goal kicks in the second half. Braden's actually won the ball a lot, both in the air and on the ground in this match, taking it away from West Sioux players on the ball. It will be a Tiger corner kick. Owen Olsen trots over to take this with 31 minutes left to play. Spencer leading 5-1. Olsen's delivery will float out of play, pushed by the wind. Ernesto Flores places down the ball for the goal kick. This time we'll play the short pass, but that's going to invite the Tigers to close down quickly. The cross comes in from Ian Youngdahl, and Spencer will win another corner kick.
I think there you honestly see West Sioux is not used to making those short passes, because even though that was a smart move on the defender's part, a smart move on the keeper's part, but nobody else on West Sioux's side started to move to get open there. And instead, then Spencer took advantage and just put the pressure on him.
Owen Olson stands over the corner kick. Good ball in to the far post, just over the head of Kenny Rash and Kendall Schmidt. And then Kenny charges after the ball and couldn't control it. It's out for a throw-in. Kenny Rash to Owen Olson, and then Owen takes a kick as the ball was away, and it will be a free kick for Spencer. Mario Duenas with the foul. And the Tigers will stand over this free kick now. Derek Huss. And remember, Derek has the wind at his back here. Will he go for goal? He will pop it up to the post, and Owen Olson there puts it just wide. What a payoff that would have been after drawing that foul to link up with Owen Olson on a header.
Absolutely, and that was an extremely well-placed ball by Derek. Perfectly placed for Owen's header. He did get a good rip on it with his head there. I mean, just not quite placed well, but very well played set play.
And that's one thing I can tell you with certainty about Owen Olson after watching him play every Spencer Tiger basketball game this winter. Owen can get up. He's got some ups. Derek Huss will come back to play this ball and does concede the throw-in.
And for the Tigers, McCray. For West Sioux, Cervantes.
Here's the throw-in to Jason Topete. Now Isaac Peterson.
Out of curiosity, comparatively to the other teams they've played, what does their height seem like?
For
Spencer versus many of the other teams.
That's a good question.
I haven't had the benefit of seeing quite as many, and I didn't know if they're generally the taller team for these challenges.
I would say yes, the Tigers probably have just shaded most opposition in the height department this season. When you consider Braden Hyder along with the two central defenders, you've got some big bodies. But when you throw in guys like Kenny Rash and Owen Olson that can elevate,
true,
that kind of changes things also.
Very true. I mean, if you think about it even professionally on the national level, whatever. I mean, especially like the German national team, always so good because they have such huge players. They dominate the air often when they play other teams, in addition to dominating on the ground. So I was curious if that's what we're seeing from Spencer as well often.
And two more physical players just came into the match also, Davis Hogue and Owen King, who have a little bit of size also. So I think Tigers certainly would not shy away from any kind of a physical contest. Ian McCray will take this corner kick. As the Tigers starting to rack up the corners, now number 8 in the match. Ian McCray with the low ball to the near post. Kendall Schmidt gets there first. West Sioux trying to clear the ball with the freshman Marco Mendoza. And Mendoza bundled over by Isaac Peterson. Referee says last warning.
He probably was going for the ball, but had completely missed it. So to some degree, he's a little bit lucky he did not end up with a card there.
Into the feet of Jason Topete. Now Owen King to Ian McCray. Ian with the ball still. Rolls it back to Davis Hogue. Too far away from Derek Huss to get to. Case Cothran will win this. And now Owen Olson. Into the feet of Owen King. First touch was a heavy one. Now Isaac Peterson into space for Owen King. And West Sioux gets a clearance out for a throw.
Ramirez had a little burst of speed there to beat him to the ball. I wasn't quite expecting that burst of speed and the ability to kind of outrun Owen King there.
And Owen, as we know, very quick player.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Ian McCrae into the box. Still Ian, riding challenges, takes the shot and scores! Ian McCrae sneaks it in at the near post. Keeper diving to it, but could not get there in time. What a finish by Ian McCrae.
Well-placed ball on that inside post there, right, I mean, inches from the post.
At the 56-minute mark, Ian McCrae with the Tiger goal. Spencer's 6th in the match. West Sioux will try the early ball. Hangs in the air, and Ashton Musser trying to deal with it. Owen King comes away with it. To his fellow Owen Olson. Now Ian McCrae, the Tigers flowing. Back to Ian McCrae. Owen Olson gets back onside, gets the ball. West Sioux just takes it off of his toe. Falcons get a little bit of a breather. Here's Johnny Ramirez again. And Ashton Musser with the nice read. Ian McCrae with a little bit of hesitation that time. And the ball goes out. Substitution for West Sioux with Duenas coming back in and Joshua Cervantes to the bench.
In for West Sioux, Duenas.
Here's Jason Topete on the ball for West Sioux, trying to dribble around Owen King. Duenas comes up with the challenge, had the free kick giveaway on the foul moments ago. Now Owen King. Duenas again, and now the foul, which will set up a Tiger free kick in a similar spot to the free kick about 5 to 7 minutes ago, where it was Derek Huss that played it to the head of Owen King, or of Owen Olson rather. This time it will be Owen Olson standing over this free kick.
We talked about the physicality there, and Duenas is probably one of the only West Sioux players with the size to be able to keep that up.
Owen Olson goes for the low-driven ball. Cleared into a wide area. And a throw-in now for the Falcons.
Ian Youngdahl kind of grabbed him a little bit on that play there and just had a bit of a tried to hide it a bit, but pulled him back.
This free kick will hang in the air. Owen King to Ian McCrae. Now Owen Olson. Wide for Ian Youngdahl. Ian with a stop-and-go dribble, gets around the defender. Pulls it back to Owen Olson. He'll shoot, and a save made at the near post by Ernesto Flores, who was in the right spot. Derek Huss for Owen Olson again. Spencer Tigers trying to earn win number 14 on the season here tonight. Ernesto Flores. Better on that punt to midfield. It ends up with Jason Topete. Topete allowing some teammates to join him. But the Tigers back on it. Chance to counter here. Neither team controlling the ball back and forth.
You can look, actually, West Sioux is really focusing on the defensive right now. 3 players still in their back fourth of the field. The strategy looks to be booted up and hope that West Sioux gets to the ball first.
Derek Huss for Spencer will play it to the feet of Owen Olson, who comes back inside the defensive half to collect it. Now Ian McCrae. Ian McCrae trying to play the through ball towards Owen King, and it's cleared away just in time by the West Sioux back line. Taking it off the toe of Owen King, and it will be a Tiger corner kick. Okay, corner number 9. Usually about this point is when we say, 8, 9, 10 corner kicks. I'd like to see a good chance at least off of one.
Again, yeah, it's usually one of the best opportunities to score for a team.
Ian McCrae goes to the near post, and it's bouncing through to Ernesto Flores, who was smartly waiting for that as the defender did not connect. And now Topete overruns the ball. A little bit of a miscue. Plays it into the path of a teammate, Hernan Garcia Topete. And the attack fizzles for the moment. West Sioux still with it, though. And good work by Case Cawthron to win the ball back and put it out for a throw. A little bit of a bobble there from Topete. Otherwise, he was away.
I was going to say that actually had had an opportunity for them to turn it around on Spencer, which I did not see coming, generally putting that the hope in the deep kick, but had one just hang back a little further, and there you go.
Substitutions made. Christian Hookfin back in along with Kendall Schmidt, and in the back line, Aiden Chaffin, sophomore. There's Ashton Musser. Looking for Kendall Schmidt. Davis Hogue winning that header. It looks like Isaac Peterson has slid over as a central defender right now, Will.
I was going to say, I'm seeing Chaffin in there as well, so not as many of their starters, and I'm wondering if this is because this is towards the end of the season here and the placements are already in, that maybe they're pulling out a few of their other players.
There's Isaac Peterson for Ian Youngdahl. Can Ian get there first? No, but he gets a fortunate deflection. And then rolls it back to Derek Huss, who's now able to find Kenny Rash. Back to Kenny again. Too many defenders close by. Almost got away with the ball. Case Cawthron up from the back. Into space in a wide area. Isaac Peterson there. To Derek Huss. Big clearance. Here's the freshman into the game for West Sioux, Zach Finzen. $16:10 left to play. Spencer leads 6-1. Christian Hookfin with the throw in to Kendall Schmidt. Kendall with a nice move to get past the first defender.
I was going to say, I think this is the first time we've seen Derek Huss in that center midfield position, if I'm remembering correctly.
Derek, as a younger player, was a midfielder. We saw him play a lot of midfield for the Tigers in the past, but this year, you're right, he has been primarily a central defender, and I have not seen him in the midfield yet this season until right now. Ashton Musser. Looks like Ashton is kind of taking over Derek's role in the back line of being the player that comes out to play the ball, with Isaac Peterson kind of dropping back a little bit more.
Well, it is a prime opportunity. I think the coach is taking good advantage of this kind of an opportunity. You know, you already have your placements for regionals. That's not going to change. The game is right now a very solidly set game. And now we can get some of the younger players with promise in to get some of that varsity experience. You know, you see Chaffin in here. You see more of Hogue. You don't see as much normally. You get to move some people around and let them experience those different positions because, quite frankly, when Derek leaves, Ashton's likely the next candidate for that position when he graduates.
Ian Youngdahl in that wide midfield spot. Kendall Schmidt helps the ball on, and now Derek Huss getting into a physical battle with Mario Duenas. Davis Hogue, a couple of step overs, and then one too many. But the Tigers back onto it. Aiden Chaffin. To Davis Hogue. Now Ashton Musser will pick out Derek Huss. Derek to Davis Hogue. Back to Derek Huss. Derek going to shoot. Falls for Ian Youngdahl, and Ian gets the goal on senior night.
Wonderful play. Ian making the run in the middle. I couldn't see it right here. Did it seem like very intentional to Ian at that point?
I don't know if it was necessarily, but it all worked out in the end. Happy to see a senior score on senior night, although I guess Derek Huss, winding up for that shot, was probably thinking the same thing.
Tiger goal in the 67th minute, Ian Youngdahl.
Ian has a very big cheering section here as well. I've noticed that.
You know, I noticed actually even his older sister was back here tonight who was also in her own right a very talented soccer player.
Andy Youngdahl.
On the girls team. Yes. And years back and very, very talented there. Their whole family actually very much soccer family.
I wonder if you went back and added up games played for Ian and Andy, that would be quite a few Spencer Tiger games to their names.
Between the two of them, they both played a large amount of varsity throughout their 4 years in high school.
Here's Derek Huss to the near post, a belter saved by Ernesto Flores, but I'm not quite sure how. And then the ball goes wide where Christian Hookfin will chase after it. That's just a pure reaction save where you don't have any chance to think about anything.
You know, well, that speaks to Flores. I mean, we've seen this at a lot of these home games where I've had the pleasure of being here with you, that young, talented keepers on our side, on the other side, they're not too many senior keepers. So we're going to see a lot more of them in the years coming up.
Not sure that's a good thing, is it?
I know. I'm not sure either. It's good for us with Eli, but
yes, but for opposing teams, you're right. We've seen a lot of sophomore goalkeepers, junior goalkeepers. Here's a ball for Ian Youngdahl to chase down near the corner flag. Puts in a good ball to the near post, headed away by West Sioux. 7-1, the Tigers lead with 11:55 left to play. There's Case Cawthron, another Spencer Tiger senior. He's headed to Northwestern where he will wrestle next season. Derek Huss lobs one into the box. Christian Hookfin there, and Christian colliding with the goalkeeper. And as we know, goalkeepers get the benefit of the doubt in that situation, and Flores did take a little bit of a knock, it looks like.
Yeah, in a normal 50-50 ball, you can both go straight up for it. You'll be fine. Anymore, that's not really the case when you're going up against the keeper. It has to be more of a 70-30 ball favoring the offensive player, but otherwise you're going to get called likely.
Here's Davis Hogue to Derek Huss. And you totally understand why it's called that way, because you don't want players just trying to run into goalkeepers.
Absolutely. I mean, that was a danger for the goalkeepers in the past, and I've seen some very hard hits on the keeper back when that 50-50 was still allowable. I mean, you don't see that nearly as much anymore, but it was. I think it's a good rule change, like you're saying. It's not official per se, but definitely in that 70-30 that I'm saying.
Ball was brought down by Kendall Schmidt. Now Kenny Rash. Kendall weaving his way through to Derek. Now Kenny. Kenny skips over the ball. Now back to his right foot for the shot. And that was always going wide. Excuse me, it took a deflection. So it will be a Tiger corner. Oh, wait. I was wrong. It's going to be a goal kick.
I saw what you saw. That line judge over there had waved the flag and lifted the leg saying there was a deflection, but it looks like the center judge overruled that.
Short goal kick. Christian Hookfin on the ball. Plays it to Derek Huss. Is this Derek's moment on senior night? Yes, it is. Derek Huss slides it home. The captain gets a goal, and you can see his Tiger teammates come over to celebrate.
And, you know, there's another unselfish play by Christian Hookfin because he also had an opportunity for a shot there. Saw a bit better opportunity with Derek and was willing to give it up. Both of them seniors. I mean, very good unselfish play by Christian there, too.
I totally agree with you. Christian, you would not blame him at all for wanting to take a shot in that situation, and he said, I've got a much better opportunity here to roll this into the path of Derek Huss, and it was a very good pass as well.
Oh, yes. And I see all of the younger players on Spencer warming up on the side there. I think they're going to try to get some more of those younger players in.
9:33 left to play. 8-1. Spencer leads. Case Cawthron to Derek Huss. Ball put into the box near Kendall Schmidt. Lear. Now the bouncing ball dealt with by Marco Mendoza. A couple of freshmen on the pitch right now for West Sioux with Zach Finzen and Mendoza. Here's Hernan Garcia Topete. Towards Mendoza to chase. Aiden Chaffin puts it out into touch.
And it looks like Aiden has a pretty good read on the field for a younger player with not a lot of varsity experience. He does seem to defensively have a good read, and he knows where to go with it. He's just got a little bit too hard of a touch. A little bit too hard, wondering if maybe a little nerves, but I think you'd mentioned he'd been in a previous game.
Ashton Musser with the clearance. Mario Duenas trying to bring that in. Instead, Kenny Rash will be on the ball for Spencer. Davis Hogue for Kendall Schmidt. Now Kenny Rash comes away with the ball. Still Kenny. Collides with the defender. And finally, the foul is given against Kenny Rash. Kenny was kind of a runaway train there a little bit. He was bouncing into people.
I think he actually ran into the two largest players on West Sioux there, too.
And the funny thing about it, too, is he stayed on his feet.
He did.
Now Derek Huss. Still Derek. Will play it into the path of Kenny Rash. Kenny still on the ball. Will shoot and score. West Sioux unable to get away from Kenny Rash, and you can see the frustration from the goalkeeper Ernesto Flores as he was put in a impossible situation. And Kenny Rash able to find the goal, his fourth of the night, as the Tigers will clear the bench and bring in a whole host of new Tigers into the match. And the Tigers right now getting a round of applause from the Tiger fans in attendance for a pretty great all-around performance tonight from the Spencer Tiger varsity team. That was again a case of the strength of Kenny Rash as he just stood on the ball. The defender went to the ground, and Kenny was then all alone for the shot, one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Kenny's just an amazing shot. That's not likely going to be a miss.
So the new players that have come into the match for Spencer, you have Sebastian Garcia Mendez in midfield, Camden Porath wide midfield. Gavin Gross has come in to lead the attacking line for the Tigers, and then Jackson Morris, a freshman, also in the game. Here's a free kick from West Sioux into the box. Mendoza went up high to almost win that header. Will cross for Jason Topete, gets the header but can't direct it on goal. And now the shot from close range, and it was luckily over everything.
And you see a little bit more energy, honestly, from West Sioux. It looks like they're honestly trying to take advantage of this in order to try to have some more opportunities on goal. Like that, you could see them being a bit downtrodden prior to, and when the new group came in, there was a bit more intensity that came out of them.
Gavin Gross will chase this. Gavin with a lot of speed, almost got there, and the goalkeeper, Flores, has to hastily clear it to the touchline. I think Flores is saying right now to his teammates, guys, we still have 5 minutes left in this match. You can't shut things down yet. Big run made from West Sioux's Javier Mora. There's Jackson Morris. Couldn't keep it in play. With 5 minutes left to play, Spencer leading 9-1. West Sioux on the ball. Isaac Peterson, another one of those sophomores, Will, that have gotten a lot of important playing time this season and starting to feel like a player that's solidly part of the varsity setup now.
Absolutely. And, you know, you think of it with Spencer's current roster, they actually don't have the numbers that they've had in the past. So having that depth with those younger players is huge.
And pretty good balance, too, between the senior, junior, and sophomore classes.
Absolutely.
Here's Case Cawthron. Case. Takes it away again. Tried to slide the pass across. Gavin Gross almost getting there. Finally, West Sioux scrambles to get it clear for the moment. Tigers surrounding the ball, trying to win it back. It will be out for a Spencer Tiger throw-in. The Tigers leading at 9-1, 3.5 minutes left to play. Overall, very well-rounded performance from Spencer tonight. Gavin Gross takes this in nicely, and look at Gavin still battling. Will get the shot away, but too close to the goalkeeper, Ernesto Flores, who makes the comfortable save.
I'm assuming he was pulled down a bit there by the West Sioux player. I'm assuming they were leaving it as an advantage, which is why they didn't make that call there.
Porath to Case Cawthron. Now Davis Hogue. Nice step up and block. And then the pick out of Gavin Gross again. Gavin turns, looking for Case Cawthron. Playing in a much more advanced position here.
I think they're trying to give their seniors more opportunities for those shots. And right now, it's actually Case Cawthron being a defender. That Ramirez, number 4 back there, it's almost been a little bit of a battle between the two of them. Normally, you would have seen him clear a couple times instead, trying to challenge Case and having that back and forth.
Porath wins it. Has options in front. Lines up the shot, will take it, and too much underneath the shot as it loops over the crossbar. The minute 45 left to play. Ernesto Flores sets down the ball for a free kick, or a goal kick rather. Chaffin will get to this first. Helps usher the ball out. Ashton Musser, another Tiger sophomore that has played a lot of Tiger soccer this year. Here's Jason Topete. Now Jackson Morris to Gavin Gross. Gavin Gross and Case Cawthron now with a minute left to play. Mendoza will keep this in. Camden Porath for Gavin Gross. Gavin with a nice slide around the defender. Then stands it up at the back post for Case Cawthron to attack. Still alive for a potential Tiger shot. Jackson Morris and the sliding challenge from the West Sioux defender at the last moment to get the clearance. Good challenge by Joshua Cervantes.
And I think West Sioux is just desperate to try to stop any last goals in the final part of this game. They're finally excited in that sense.
10 seconds left. The ball put into the box, and it will drift out of play as the final action of the game takes place. Spencer gets the victory by a resounding 9-1 margin as the Tigers were in control of this one throughout. Spencer picks up an impressive victory here tonight to improve to 14-4 on the season. For the number 7 ranked team in Class 2A, West Sioux will fall to 3-12. So let's run through the goal scoring here tonight. Braden Hyder opened the scoring in the 12th minute. Kenny Rash made it 2-0 Spencer Tigers in the 20th minute. In the 28th minute, it was Owen King putting Spencer ahead 3-0 before West Sioux would find a goal. And for the moment, 3-1. Seemed like West Sioux might be climbing right back into the game, but the Tigers would have an instant answer. 2 minutes later, Kenny Rash on the assist from Owen Olson to give Spencer that 3-goal advantage again, going into the halftime break up 4-1. In the second half, the Tigers with all of the scoring. It was Kenny Rash in the 47th minute, Ian McCrae in the 56th minute, Ian Youngdahl in the 67th minute, Derek Huss in the 71st minute, the assist from Christian Hookvin, and then Kenny Rash with his 4th of the match in the 73rd minute to make it 9-1 Spencer Tigers. Unofficially, the Tigers with 11 corner kicks in the match, 35 shots, 19 of those shots on target for West Sioux. 3 shots, all 3 shots on target. And again, the Tigers get the victory 9-1, which it was a well-rounded match, I thought, right from the start for Spencer here tonight. Well, what did you think about the overall performance?
You know, I thought it was a really great performance on Spencer's part. I think they really wanted to come out and again make a point. To be honest, I think they're a bit sore of their placement in the postseason here, knowing that they had 2 wins over Storm Lake but were seated lower. I think hits a lot of them. So they were coming out with a point to make.
Is it the worst thing in the world to have a chip on your shoulder?
No, I don't. I would say not. You know, that definitely will be something that they can use to their advantage there. But what I will say there is the one piece that I think Spencer's really going to have to to be aware of. They're extremely talented, but every once in a while you see them come out really a little bit lackluster and make a couple mistakes they normally don't, like in this game, like in Cedar Falls. And when they're in this postseason, they have a tough road, and they've got to make sure not to have any of those lax plays.
And you're right. The goal for West Sioux came kind of against the run of play here tonight. It was that long ball over the top where everything just kind of seemed to slow down for a second, and there was a lot of different hesitation moments while that was happening, which allowed Jason Tepete to get the goal. And you're right. Those kind of plays need to be eliminated when you're in a playoff setting, and one goal can be all the difference.
Exactly. I mean, I think you put those teams against each other, as shown in the season, straight up, Spencer's the better team and can come out on top, but you cannot, but that's assuming they don't make any of those. And I think, there's the key right there.
The margin of error is certainly much, much smaller once you get to postseason play, although the Spencer Tigers with a nice springboard, at least here tonight, getting ready for the postseason as they pick up the 9-1 victory. Again, the Tigers now 14-4 on the season as West Sioux falls to 3-12. For Will Dybel, I'm Mark Magnuson. Andrew Miller has been the camera operator for tonight's game. You've been watching Spencer Tiger Boys Soccer on SMU Channel 3, the Spencer Channel.